Hey guys, we are ending the summer. I just decided to launch a sale, a seasonal auto learning experience. My 2020 sale will be a series of short videos around the use of analytic tool to improve the efficiency of meal, standing for monitoring, evaluation, and accountability and learning system. Through these videos, I will focus on the use of Power BI, Excel, Power Pivot, and DAX, which stand for data analysis expressions. Through these videos, I will use real case scenario, concrete problem that I need or that I had to deal with and from which I learned. So my first video for this sale will be around the use of Kobo toolbox, specifically using the repeat question and how I use this repeat question to create table relationship, meaning simple modeling through Power Pivot. So now let's go to my learning problem. I was recently conducting a survey, and the paper-based questionnaire format of my survey had this form. I wanted to collect the information on the household head, and the type of information that I wanted to collect is the name, the sex, and the age. But I also wanted to collect for each household the name, the sex, and the age of each member, meaning a complete questionnaire will have the name, the sex, and the age of the household head, and also the age, the name, and the sex of each member that pertain to this household. I also decided to do this survey through some smartphone, and I use Kobo Toolbox, which is an app that allow you to do um, mobile data collection. So to put this questionnaire in Kobo Toolbox, the first part, I use a text for the name of the household head and select one type question for the household head sex and also an integer type of question for the age. But because I wanted to have for each household head this information for the household member, I had to use a repeat group using the same type of question. For example, I will go to my Kobo account and you will see the type of question that I have, how it goes. So now this is the household survey in my Kobo account. So you can see I have the name of the sex and the age of the household member. And I created what I would call a roster, meaning a repeat group for each household member. So I have the name, the sex, and the age. So far, I have one information, and I could click on the plus to add a second household member. You can see that I have a second member where I will collect the information on the name, the sex, the age, and if there is also another member. So the way that my data is presented, I can show you, for example. It creates two sheets. So what is the problem for me? So when I downloaded the Kobo dataset to Excel, it creates two sheets or two tables. The first table is automatically related to the household head, and the second table is related to the repeating group. So that means Kobo just created for each repeat group a new table. So I could not really see using my data set or when I was doing the analysis, I could not bring the information from the second sheet to the first sheet. So what I decided to do to resolve my situation or my problem, I decided to create a relationship using Excel Power Pivot, meaning I can create a relation between the first table and the second table. But guys, before jumping directly in Power Pivot, let me talk a little bit about some aspect that you need to understand when you're creating a relationship. There are three aspects that you need to understand when you are creating a relationship. The first one is the cardinality, and the second one is the cross-filter direction, and the third one is the key. Let's talk first about the cardinality. There is three types of cardinalities. The first one is one-to-one. A one-to-one relationship, in this kind of relationship, the column in one table has only one instance of a particular value, and the other related table has only one instance of a particular value. That means, in my case, if I had a one-to-one relationship, one observation in my sheet 1 will have only one observation in sheet 2. The second type would be the one-to-many, which apply to my case. And in a many-to-one relationship this is the most common type of the relationship that you will find. And it means that a column in a given table can have more than one instance of a value, and the other related table, often known as the lookup table, has only one instance of a value. What does it mean? It means, and this is my case here, one person, one of the household, has several members in the second table. So I have, for example, my name is Niall. I have several dependents in my household. So in the first sheet, I will be the person and I will have several people in my household. The third one would be the many-to-many, which is obvious. You have many people here or many observations related or connected to many people in the second sheet. The second aspect that you need to understand is the cross-filter direction. And you have two types of cross-filter direction. You have the single. In the single, this is the most common one that you will have, which means filtering choice is connected tables work on the table where the values are being aggregated. So that means with a single cross filter direction, you are able to bring the information, for example, from that sheet to that sheet. Or if you can bring the information from that sheet to that sheet. This is a single. But when you have the both, or what we call both cross filter direction, you can do the same, the two together. You can bring at the same time information from sheet 1 to sheet 2 or sheet 2 to sheet 1. With Excel Power Pivot, it is a little bit tricky to have the both cross filter direction function, and usually it's easier to do a single. And this is why my next video will be about Power BI, where it is easy to do both. But in this video, we'll focus on the single one. The third element, and which is very, very important to understand, is what we call a key. There is a primary key and there is a foreign key. A primary key is a special relational database table column designated to uniquely identify each record. A primary key is used as a unique identifier to quickly parse data with the table. The foreign key is a set of columns in the table that refers to the primary key in another table. Let's see in my Kobo dataset that I just downloaded, where are this stuff in the key. For example, this is my Excel dataset that I just downloaded from my Kobo account, and you can see this is the table for for the household head, and you can see there is the index. And the index is the unique value for each observation. For example, 1 is for Nael, 2 is for Rosemary, 3 is for Romil, 4 is for Laurel. Hmm? And when you go to the second sheet, you will see that there is also the index, which is the primary key for the second table. But there is also what they call the parent index. So the parent index will be the foreign key. So that means this number 1 just telling me that this person, for example, Jan, is a member of the household with index 1. So basically what you need to do is to create a relationship between the index in the first sheet and the parent index in the second sheet or table. So basically what I did to solve my situation, I created a single and one-to-many relationship. So that means I have one household with several members. Now that you saw my problem and how I intend to resolve it, let's go directly to my solution. So first, guys, you need to have the Power BI already installed in your Excel. By default, Power Pivot, will not be automatically activated in Excel. So you need to go to activate Power Pivot. You need to go to File, and then Option, and Add-ins, and be sure, for example, here you have Microsoft Power Pivot, Excel, and then you just click OK. In my case, it is already installed, so I don't need to activate it again. So to create this relationship, let me click on Power Pivot. And I will then add my first sheet here that I selected, and I click Add to the data model. And be sure that you have put your cursor in one of the data in your data set, and then that my table as headers is checked, because it will automatically take the first row as the header of my table, and I click OK. And automatically I do that. It will open a second window for me, which is the Power Pivot windows, exactly. So you can see that I have my first table, which consists of my household head information. I can rename it. I just go here, I click, and I do right click. In this case, let me rename it as HH, and then enter. To bring the other table, I will again go to my sheet and I click on the roster, and I said Power Pivot again and add to model. And again, be sure that you have put your cursor in one of the data and that you have clicked or you have checked on my table as header, and you click OK. Automatically, it will bring the second table in my Power Pivot model. So I can rename it as the first. I will rename it as member, and then enter. Here we go. So I have my two table in my model. But now I need to create the relationship. Remember, I told you you need to create a relationship between the index of the first table and the parent index of the second table. So here, I'm still in the data view model. So that means you have here your data set, and let me increase it. You have here what we call the calculation area, where you can do calculation. I need to go in the diagram view to see my table. So I can see that I have two tables in my model. I can increase it so you can see all the variables in my model. So just to create a relationship, remember I need to create a relationship between the index from my first table and the parent index of the single table. It's easy. It's just clicking on the index and drag it to the parent index. And Power Pivot has created the relationship for you. As you can see it has created a one-to-many relationship. One-to-many relationship. That means one column in this table is connected or related to several columns in this table. In fact, I have one household head connected to several members in my household. And the arrow here is just showing me the cross filter. So that means I can bring all the information in a household here to the member. This is my relationship that I created. I can go back in my data view to see my data. And now you're probably asking yourself why I did that. Yeah, this is very nice because I can add, for example, if I go to my member, I can say, bring me the name, right? Bring me the name of for all my member, the name of the household head. So I will just use a DAX function. I double click on the column and by default Power Pivot will add at the last column, give you the option to add a column. So I double click on it and I change the name. I want to, for example, put household head. All right, and I click enter and automatically it creates a new column for me. And you will see it creates the new column for me. And I can use a DAX function which is related, and the related is basically a really useful DAX function, and it returns a related value from another table. What I want to do with that function is that I want to bring for each of my member the name of the household head name, and automatically it show me that all the variable from the previous table, meaning the table from all the variable from the table HHH. So I want to select that one. I want to select the name and I close the parenthesis. Then I click enter. Look what happened here. It's running and automatically it brings me the name of the household member for each. It brings me the name of the household head for each members. I can also want to bring the age of the household head. I will create another variable, double click. All right, it's not working. Yeah, sometimes it's giving me some issue. Okay, but we will leave it as it is. Let's call it age household. Okay. Don't worry, it's something happened. We'll call it. Okay. All right, we'll call it household age, and then click enter, and then I will use the same function, and will use the relate function. You need to know this kind of function for DAX, and I type related, and I'm going to choose the age of the, and close parenthesis, and it will bring the name, it will bring the age for my function. Here you go. So far we have been working on the data set, but you can also do some specific calculation. For example, if you go here, you can type, you can do the average of the age. So I will do average age, and I type the name of the function, and I click what I want, what variable I want to do the calculation. And I close the parenthesis. And here we go. It has created, I have created I have the average for the age of my household head. So far, this is what I've been able to do. Guys, I use so far Excel Power Pivot, but one of the limitation, not really limitation of Excel Power Pivot is that um, when you do um, when you do the relationship Power Pivot, it's not I mean, for that one, I can easily bring the information from this table to this table. But if I want to bring information from this table to this table and do more calculation using that, I will have to change the cross filter direction. And with Excel Power Pivot, it's not so direct to have both direction. And for that, you need it's better to do it with Power Pivot, which will be the next video that I will be releasing. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the next video on Power BI and creating a relationship. Thank you very much.